Hey, it's Mark Fergus with Invest for More. We're back at the Laundromat, and we made some huge changes this week. It'll be really cool to see if they help a lot. And for those of you who've watched my videos before, that machine is now in the front. It was one of our machines was out of order. It wasn't working because the concrete was messed up and some other issues. Now it's installed, it's working, and I'm really excited about having that up front because our up front machines do the very best. We also have out of order signs gone on 2 of the dryers, so all the dryers are working but one, and that one actually works. It just doesn't have heat. Then I tried to fix this. The door latch was broken. I put on a new door latch. It's not just a door latch. So we've got to get a new interior door sill. That's like $40, but someone must have leaned on it or something. I don't want people to use that and try and slam the door and then break the hatch again. And that's our pop machine location. It was all the way up front, and it was a YouTube suggestion. We were going to put the pop machine here, and they said just leave it where it's at by the chairs, and I listened. So let's see what's in our change machine. All right, we're checking the change machine. It's Friday. I've been putting quarters in here, so there won't be a lot of quarters gone, but I have not taken money out of it since the weekend. Oh, there's actually more quarters gone than I thought there would be. So we took $900 and some out over the weekend, and then we'll see how much we take out today. And that's the money we take home, but it's not really the profit. The profit is what's in the machines. But we just circulate quarters over and over and over again. Not bad, but we'll have to count all that up, see what we've got, and then of course we'll check the machines here shortly. There ended up being 730 in there, plus our 930, so it should be a really good week if that matches up with what's in the machines. Here's our vending machine. I actually just restocked that earlier today. I was in the laundromat quite a bit today because our guys were moving parts around, doing a lot of different stuff. If you hear drilling and different stuff while I'm doing my change video, that's where it is. So the vending machine did pretty good. There's some gold coins in there again. Here's the pop machine, and our Pepsi just doesn't sell. Our root beer, Mountain Dew, Sprite, Dr. Pepper, even the Orange Crush sells, but the Pepsi does not. So I thought about changing it out for Coke. So that's what I'm going to do today. And then when I shop at Sam's, they actually don't have mug root beer. That's what I've been putting in there. They've just got A&W. And mug has caffeine, A&W doesn't. So I was thinking, well, maybe if parents are buying a soda for their kids or something, they might want non-caffeine. So I'm going to switch that out too. But that's what's in there. And not bad, not horrible, not bad. So we'll see if that makes any differences in the sales by changing things up a little bit. Here's a soap machine. And there's definitely some detergent gone. Not as crazy as that one week where some of it, quite a bit, was almost all gone. But there's a decent amount in there, and that's always good to see too. So we'll count that up here pretty soon, see what we have in the vending, soap, and pop machine. And of course we'll check the washers and dryers, which is really the exciting part of all of this. All right, so we're doing the vending machine first. There are my $2 coins that were in there, and we'll see what we've got. 145 plus 2. That's pretty good for the week. We'll show you the sales chart at the end that lists everything, and if that converts into dollars, of course that's quarters. That's not $145. That would be very nice. Here's the pop machine, which is 75. Not bad at all for that either. And then we've got the soap machine, which is it jammed on me. 137, 138. So that's pretty good too. Not records on any of that, I don't think, but definitely one of our higher weeks for the vending machine. Obviously, they don't make us a ton of money. It's nice to have for customers and just a little bit of extra change for us. All right, now we'll see what's in the washers. So this is one of our bigger machines in back, the 50-pounder, and it's exactly the same as the machine we just moved. So the machine that we moved was right behind it, and we moved it because the concrete was broken underneath. And these are decent looking coin boxes already, so that's good to see. What's kind of frustrating is, we've had the bad laundromat guys who did a lot of different things wrong. They're very old, and we found something else. We had a dryer making a ton of noise, just not working right. Took it apart, it hadn't been cleaned. They claimed to take apart and clean every single dryer in here, and that's at least the second one we found that they did not clean. It was just disgusting and horrible. Well, we had different laundromat guys who I thought were much better install the 50-pound washer back there on the left over there, and it was missing when I took over this laundromat. It wasn't there, and so they installed it, didn't say there's any issues, and it ran for maybe a month, and then it started shaking, hitting the wall, really making the DMV mad, who's right next to us. So we had them come back. They said they fixed it. They said it was a little bit loose, and it did the same thing. Worked for about a month, then started shaking, didn't work. So we just, hey, that's pretty good too. All these are looking pretty decent. So we put an out of order sign, and had our guys kind of go look at it, and they said, yeah, your concrete is broken. And what's annoying is they took it out. They said quite a few of the screws under there were old screws. They weren't even new screws. And someone broke my front off of that. So I think we have some extra parts somewhere. But I don't think that good laundromat guys really did much to make that machine fit in there right either, because the right way to do it, from what I've read and seen, is you've got to kind of drill out the concrete a little bit, put in some kind of concrete or epoxy or something, and if you don't do that, there's no way it's ever going to sit in there right and not shake loose, and you might even have to re-pour some of the concrete. So that was annoying, and that's one reason why we just moved the machine out of there and moved it up front, because the concrete up front is okay. And now we have a big machine up front too, because the machines up front do so much better than the machines in the back. And something else we've been working on is we had cleaners. We hired them last week, and it's going pretty good, but I feel like, I don't know if they haven't been here for a while, or if they aren't cleaning as much as they were before. These machines are much dirtier than I've seen them. And the floor is cleanish, but not as clean as it could be. So I'm just wondering. We posted a notice in the laundromat. We're looking for a new cleaner. We must have had 8 different people respond in the first 3 days. So there were tons of people who responded. Lots of people wanted the job. We were able to negotiate a pretty good fee, but it's not a very good fee if they're not really doing the job. And here's that door I was talking about earlier. And no money in the machine when it's out of order. Although sometimes you will find money in the machines because people try them even though it says out of order, and then they lose their money. But these are, decent amounts coming out of these. I'm very pleased. Last week we had kind of a down week, and I was hoping that one would continue, and that definitely has not continued. We definitely have probably more than last week already. So it's really good to see. And we still have quite a few more machines to empty out here. This machine here has pulled a couple of error codes for the drain, but the drain's clear. We turn the machine off and on, it starts working again, no issues, and it's been working all week. So these machines are so finicky. Sometimes they just decide that they're tired, they don't want to work, they want to take a break, and they pull their error code. And then I guess once they get their vacation and break, then they're like, okay, we're cool, we can start working again. But it's weird. Another one that's having some issues. I think it was leaking underneath it. But yeah, nobody tried to use that one. And that's a really full box for these white ones. I'm not sure we've ever had one that full for the white Horizons. And I would say too, people warned me when I got these, I bought them used from another laundromat, that the Horizons will give you problems. They definitely have been the most finicky, had the most issues, for sure. So, for those wondering. And here, we are testing this one out, making sure it's working, and that's the money we put in it. So that'll be really cool. That could really increase our revenue having that. So I'm excited to see next week. That's a decent amount. We have to empty these twice, so I've already emptied these on a Monday. Today is Friday. Otherwise, they will overflow and jam up the machine and won't work. As you can see, that's more than half full. It was more than half full on Monday, so that's kind of a cool milestone to hit. And then we've got our big 60-pounder here, which has been working. You know, I ordered a new belt. It came the wrong size. Try to get the right belt. We found it on actually Amazon, but the laundromat repair place won't respond to me as far as sending back the old one or giving us the right one. So that was a little bit frustrating. All right, now let's look at the dryers. The dryers are priced more now, so it'll be really interesting to see how much is in here and if we increase revenue, because we were at 8 minutes a quarter and now we're at 7 minutes a quarter. And like I said, we were also able to fix 2 of these. One of them was super dirty, just a complete mess. Another one, the blower motor went out, and luckily we've got some other dryers that we bought from the other laundromat. That's one of the machines we just fixed that we could scavenge parts from. So that's been really nice to have. And then another one, we thought the motherboard was bad, but we were able to reset it somehow, or I wasn't, but my guy's working on it, and they got it to start working again. So I wasn't able to reset it, but they were. I should probably ask them how they reset it. And so that's really cool. We've got 2 dryers that weren't working, still working, or working now. And then we have 1 dryer not working, but it just doesn't have heat. So it will work without heat. And there are a few people who come to our laundromat because our dryers will do no heat. Believe it or not, a lot of dryers at laundromats don't have that option. Ours do, and I've had multiple people say, yeah, we come here because we can do the no heat. I don't want heat. And so we have 1 dryer just for them. But these are good boxes too. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing this week. I think it's going to be a very good week. And it will be fun to count these once we get all of them out of here. Now, plans for this laundromat. We have the machine moved. Most of the stuff is working now. I really need to make sure my cleaners are doing a good job. That's the other one that wasn't working. And, you know, maybe we'll raise prices on the washers just a little bit, because we are way higher than way lower than everybody else on our washer prices. And I did visit another laundromat this week too, and it made me feel a little bit better because they had way more machines broken than I did. So it is a common theme. And I actually talked to the owner a little bit, and I'm like, hey, he's like, who are you having work on your stuff? I'm like, we're trying to get our own guys to learn, figure it out. And he's like, if you can do that, let me know, because I will use them, because there's just nobody up here who will do it. He works on his machines himself. He can't do everything. So there's a market here. If you're looking for a career, being an appliance repairman is going to be a needed career for a very long time, I believe, just because nobody's doing it anymore, and especially in northern Colorado. But it's cool to see this progress, and like I said, it's really cool to see us getting this machine up and running in just a day or two, because in the small laundromat that didn't happen so quickly, and it's pretty frustrating. So good job to my guys who got this done. It'll be fun to see next week what happens. All right, so here are the quarters. Now I tried something again. I listen to people on YouTube, I promise, even though sometimes I pretend I'm not listening, or I tell you that I'm not going to do that. Sometimes I think about it and I go back and I'm like, well, maybe that was a good idea. So I put some lubricant. It wasn't like WD-40, but just like I forgot, but basically the same thing. And I sprayed the coin changer to try and get it to run smoother and better. And what happened was, I don't know if I needed to wait a little bit for it to dry or something. In the beginning here, it was just spinning like so freely, and the quarters weren't even like going where they're supposed to go because it was so slippery. So it actually was working worse in the beginning, but then I think it started working a lot better once we got some of that excess lubricant, and the quarters decide, hey, this is a lot more fun than getting jammed up, and yeah, they'd rather be down there in the bucket, I think. Maybe not. So our normal amount for quarters is, hold on a second, why can't I find where I'm looking? There we go. For the dryer, we've been having around 1,200 to 1,300 quarters a week is normal. We had an awesome week with 459. Or sorry, that was the dollar amount. Hold on. 459 times 4. An awesome. Whoa, that is not. I came up with 9,000. Oh, like 1,830 quarters is like our record for dryers. So I was really curious to see what we would have here. Just because we raised the prices, it seemed like it was really busy. We had one guy who I was talking to. Oh, we had some guy just yelling and mad at me too. I forgot about that story. But I talked to one guy who's like, I came in here and every single washer was being used. So I've seen every dryer being used, but never every washer. I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy. He's like, yeah, it's crazy busy. But we had some guy who was upset, really mad that one of the White Horizons didn't work right, or he didn't think it worked right. And I texted him like, hey, what's wrong? We can give you a refund. And he's just like, this is ridiculous. People are hard paying and pay for laundry, and you've got to keep it working. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, you know, we can send a refund. And he just kept going off and getting mad. And he's like, well, I'm here right now. It's 8 p.m. or something. Come give me a refund. Oh, look at that. That's a new record for dryers. That's cool. That's really cool. We'll show you the chart here, but that was cool to see. Now we're doing the washers. So anyway, this guy, I'm like, I can't come tonight. You know, I can send you a refund through Venmo, or we can even mail you one. We've done that before. And he was just not having it, really upset, and just kept telling me how awful our laundromat was, how he was going to tell everybody how awful it was. And I kept asking him what machine was broken so we could try and fix it. And he wouldn't tell me. He's just like, it's a white one. I'm like, okay, which one? There's a number on them. Where was it? And he's just like, that's for you to find out. I don't need to spend time doing that. So I don't know if the guy was just mad and didn't even have an issue or what, but it's pretty ridiculous. And towards the end, he told me he's going to call the police on me if I didn't stop texting him. And I wasn't a jerk, and I didn't tell him that, you know, that's not really an offense the police are going to go after someone for, especially when you were texting me back and asking me questions. I was answering them, but I just left it at that. So we might have lost a customer, and that's okay. You do have people get very mad, but most people are cool. Most people are cool. They're understanding. You talk to them. You offer them a refund if something happens, and it works out. But there are a few people who get upset. I was talking to the other laundromat guy I know too, and he's just like, yep, there's some people who are just crazy, who just want to be mad. They don't care if you fix things or make it right. They just want to be mad. So unfortunately, we ran into one of those people, and hopefully, you know, they don't have 20,000 friends in town that they're all going to tell, but I'm guessing not. So here's the washer money, which felt really good too. And if you can see, my machine is working better now. So that was cool to see. So it is working better. And then I stop at 2,000 because it still might freak out after that. So we have to keep track of that. The record amount of quarters I've ever had is, let me see here, $1,381 times 4. We'll see if I can do this correct. 55.24 is the most quarters I've ever had from the washers before. So, I mean, it's possible we break a record this week, since we broke a record with the dryers, but it's also possible we don't break a record since I raised the price on the dryers. So this will be an interesting count here to see where it ends up and what the total actually ends up being. And I said it was working better, and then it jammed up on me in just a little bit. But it's definitely heavy. those buckets, when we're putting a bunch of quarters in them, probably, well, let me think here. Is it 50 pounds to $100 or $1,000? Or, let me see. This is interesting. How much do quarters weigh? So 50 pounds of quarters is 4,000 quarters. Okay, so we're coming close to 100 pounds of quarters on some of our record days. Don't know if we'll get there today, but we're coming close. So that was 4,010, and we need over 5,500 to break our record. So we would need 1,500 and some quarters left in the bucket, which I don't know if we have that many left. We'll see. And if people are wondering why I do the quarters like this and why I took apart my change machine, it's because it jams and they get stuck in there, and I can just stick my hand in there real quick and unjam it. Whereas if it has a hopper on top and all the other stuff, I've got to take that apart to get my hand down there and reach in there and all that. So this just works better than the hopper. And we are not going to break our record. We might get to another 1,000, almost. So we had 1049.89. So we had 3 extra quarters there, and then we had the 2010 in that first round. So not quite a record, but close for washers. Now let's see how well we did overall. Took this over in September. The previous owners are still there doing laundry all the time. They help out on occasion, when I have questions or talk about machines that aren't working right, which is cool, nice. And they actually still operate a wash and fold business. So one nice thing about my laundromat is I think there's quite a few people who have their own wash and fold laundry without a laundromat. They pick up laundry, they wash it, they take it back to people. A nice little business for them. Well, I think a lot of people use my laundromat because we have some of the cheapest prices in town. So, and it's clean, and we have bigger machines, and so, well, fairly clean. So that's been a good source of revenue. And so the previous owners still have their wash and fold that they do for people, and so they use my laundromat quite a bit. And so for them, to give me some help and different stuff, if we have someone who asks us about wash and fold, hey, will you guys do this? We're like, well, we don't actually do wash and fold here, but here's someone who can. We can refer people out to them. There you go, 1810.50 for this week, which is not quite a record, as you can see. Not quite a record, but still really good, really happy about that. Our record was 1952. So this is interesting. Like I said, we have a record for dryer money. We collected $471.75 from the dryers this week. Our previous record was $459.75, which was that week where we had 1,900. This week we collected $1,247 from the washers. In that previous week, we collected $1,381 from the washers. So the washer to dryer ratio has definitely shrunk significantly by us raising prices. Let me see if I can look at, well, we don't really have a similar week because we did so good, but our next, we did $1,013 in washer money May 1st. We had $323 in the dryers. So this should definitely add quite a bit of revenue. I mean, I'm thinking at least $100 a week if I'm just looking at these ratios correctly in that range, which is more than I thought it would be. And so something else we could do too is we could raise the price on our washers a little bit as well, because my washers are very, very cheap. Our 60-pound washer is $6. I think our competitors are $8. Some of them even more. So I don't want to just bump stuff up and go crazy, but we might raise those a little bit here. I don't know if we'll do it this week, maybe next week. And now that we've gotten kind of a real consistent base going and have customers coming, and we don't want to gouge them by any means, but this is an expensive business to run. There's rent, there's water bills, there's gas bills, there's electricity bills, there's cleaners. There's a lot going on. Plus, we invest quite a bit of money into fixing the machines, buying machines, all of that as well. So, I've had some people tell me, oh, you guys are price gouging and charging too much for to dry your clothes. And they're like, I ran an apartment complex and it didn't cost that much. I'm like, I have an apartment complex too. We have coin up washers and dryers there as well. Way cheaper to have those in an apartment building because you're not thinking about the gas you're paying, the electric you're paying. You're not over there cleaning all the time. You're not really paying rent on an apartment you own for that space. Those machines are way cheaper. They don't need as much maintenance because they're probably not getting as much use. They're just completely different situation than what we have. But this is also a free market. So if we were gouging people, if we were charging way too much, then they should be able to go somewhere else to get cheaper laundry, or they could start their own laundromat and charge less than we are. That is always an option as well. But anyway, great week, great to see the other machine up front. So I'm hoping maybe next week we can break a record with our new configuration. We'll see. Maybe I'll be completely wrong and we'll go the other direction. But in general, our trend is in the right direction. It keeps trending up and hopefully just keeps going up and up and up. And maybe we've got to start emptying other machines more than once a week because they get too full as well. That'd be cool to see too. All right, thanks for watching. We'll be back with more. And of course, we'll have our flips, other laundromat rentals, other advice videos coming up as well. And we'd love to hear what you think as always.